What is up, YouTube? Today, yes, I said we because I grabbed a bunch of creators and we're gonna answer this question, your most asked question. Why do all creators use Apple products? Let's get into the collab. What is up, YouTube? My name is CJ. This is CJ Knows Tech, where I like to get to know tech, use tech, experiment with tech, and report back to you about the tech and the important tech decisions that you're gonna have to make financially. So today, we have the most voted video by my subscriber base. I posted a poll asking about the videos and tried to get, just a feel for which videos you guys wanted to see, and you guys voted this one out of the park as the #1 video. So I had to make it extremely special. So this question is, why do all creators use Apple products? Now, I could have obnoxiously just spoken as to why I think all creators use Apple products, but no. I decided to reach out to a ton of great creators and allow them to speak up for themselves and let you know personally why they use Apple products. So throughout this video, you guys are gonna see some of your favorite creators in the creator space speak to why they like and use or have chosen to use Apple products. And don't worry, PC users, I got a PC fanboy in here.
What's up, CJ? The Poet's here, and I'm probably gonna be one of the outliers for you here because I just don't use Apple products.
And also Android users, you're gonna see Android spoken about a lot in this video.
I've been on Android for a very long time. Now, although I do love Android, the OnePlus 8 Pro is actually the best phone I've ever used.
Or just a good mention. So it's not just an Apple bias, this is not an Apple fanboy thing.
Tim, hey, what's good, brother? Yeah, oh yeah, I just got your check in the mail. Man, damn, you guys are generous. Oh, it's WWDC, all right. Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome, man, I know what to do. All right, yeah, all the positive news, 100%. I got you. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you guys there. Hold on, let me just set up the camera. Sorry, CJ.
What is up, guys? My name is Tosif Hussain, and that was an act. Just in case, y'all are, just in case. The reason I personally stick with Apple as my daily driver is simply because of the amount of benefits for creators inside this super cozy walled garden. And I'm just gonna list them all for you. Number 1, Final Cut Pro. Number 2, AirDrop, so I could transfer things to my phone ASAP. Number 3, Continuity, so I could pick up wherever I left off on my last device. Number 4, the iPad Pro, which might be my favorite device. Number 5, the Apple Watch. Absolutely love this thing. Number 6, AirPods Pro, the way they jump from device to device seamlessly, and now with the new update coming to it, even more so, where it just switches automatically. And lastly, just the clean aesthetics and UI design elements. I find their implementation of design ideas, for the most part, to be very pleasing to look at, if that makes any sense. All right, thanks so much for this opportunity, CJ. Now I'm gonna go cash that check.
Everyone has a story and a reason as to why they choose to use these Apple products, and I think it's great for you guys as the viewers to get better understanding and explanation as to why. And that's exactly what this video is gonna be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my story, how I even got into Apple products. In the beginning, I was all PCs, Windows computers, like strictly. I didn't even know what an Apple or Mac was. Well, that's not true. I've used Macintosh in elementary school and all that stuff. But basically, I was all Windows PC. And it came to a point where I got into music production. I was into the music industry heavy, not like in the industry like that, you know what I mean? I ain't nobody famous or nothing like that. Don't even try to, I ain't capping. But I was really into audio production, audio engineering, working with independent artists, creating music.
So, if the people want to know why me as a creator, why I personally like to use Apple products, here's why. As a creator, it started with an apple. Yep. Peep the metaphor, Genesis, see what had happened. I bit into the fruit at first forbidden in my chapel. Man, Windows was the only way to see, became with hassle. See, AirDrop's the main love. No, it's not kind of. You can send a large file like attached to a white dove. Whether it's from iPhone, iPad, or an iMac, throw in there the MacBook Pro, files come right back. See, then there's iMessage. Now this is the real blessing. Blue bubble gang looking good while this button I'm pressing. Photo sent, not distorted while adding compression. No green bubbles trying to teach them, I'm adding a lesson. Integrated with software is what I really like. Nothing else to download where Android gets a strike. Clean interface, well connected in their ecosystem. Even iCloud will back me up like my support system. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. Using Apple to create, man, let's be honest, it's lit. Vid photo changing edits, where's my workers permit? Thanks for having me, CJ. Apple's best, I admit. Squad.
So I got really deep into sound production and engineering, and I even went to like audio engineering school and so forth. But the common thing you saw in studios and in the audio engineering world was Apple products, Apple computers. So that became the first Apple product I grabbed was an iMac. I have my original first iMac, and I might cut to some B-roll to me lugging this joint up in here. And that's kind of a sentimental thing to me because I started my creative career as a creative on that iMac. So in the audio engineering world, the Apple computer was a staple, so obviously I grabbed one of those. And then it just became natural and it made sense to grab an iPhone. So my very first iPhone was this iPhone 3GS. Now this changed my smartphone usage because before that I was into Trios and Blackberries and Sidekicks and things like that. I was into whatever the swaggiest, most technical, nice, dope, and you know, just fun smartphone or phone, cell phone, whatever they were at that time that I could find.
Thanks, CJ. Listen, my name's Travis, and I'm a new convert to the Apple ecosystem, but it's made my workflow super, super easy, and this is why I like using Apple products. Number one, that AirDrop. Man, let me tell you something right now. I've been editing on my iPad Pro for quite a while now, and now that the iPhones, especially the iPhone 11 Pro Max, has such a good video quality, I actually use it for B-roll in my videos now. So being able to get the footage from my phone to my iPad is just an AirDrop away. And that's such a time-saving thing. I love that. I love that aspect of it. Huge fan of AirDrop. Also, iMessage is pretty legit. Like, once you have a bunch of friends that have iPhones, it's pretty much mandatory. You don't want to be that green bubble. Trust me when I tell you. But above everything, having all the latest updates on time, every time, is enough for me. I don't want to have any type of bugs sitting on my devices for too long. Apple gets those updates out to all of my devices at the same time with the quickness. So for me, as a creator, it's absolutely necessary. Thanks, CJ. Peace and love.
Here's the thing. As a creator, the Apple ecosystem and the Apple products actually suit you extremely well. You guys are gonna hear a lot of things said repetitively amongst creators, which just shows that those are the things that really matter to creators when it comes to their creating. Number one, you're gonna hear a lot is AirDrop.
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 AirDrop it. AirDrop.
AirDrop it over to
AirDrop.
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 That AirDrop.
AirDrop's the main love.
AirDrop. Yes, you're gonna hear that over and over.
Hey, CJ. Thanks for having me on. If you had asked me this a year and a half, 2 years ago, I probably would have told you I prefer Android because I was an Android guy then. But now I use both. Yes, I love and I use both. But when it comes to creation and what I do here on the platform, I love the Apple ecosystem for one word: AirDrop. I shoot a majority of my B-roll with the iPhone 11 Pro Max or whatever iPhone I'm using at the time. And when I can take that footage and practically instantly drop it onto my computer and start working on it, it's amazing. In the past, I would have to wait for it to go to the cloud or plug it in, find the right drivers, this and that. It's just magic. And as long as I'm connected there with my iPhone and my MacBook and the whole ecosystem, AirDrop is amazing. And that is one of the key reasons why I love creating on the Apple ecosystem. Thanks for having me on, CJ. Cheers.
And people are gonna be like, oh, people always talk about that, you can do, but you guys gotta understand the seamlessness and integration that AirDrop has into the Apple ecosystem is what works. And another word you're gonna hear, I just said it, yes, that keyword, ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
the ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
Whole ecosystem.
Apple ecosystem.
Super cozy walled garden.
And you're gonna hear a lot of people speak about that, but you're gonna hear a little more in depth as to how that ecosystem services them.
The reason, at least the reason I think creatives gravitate towards Apple is consistency. We can all argue over which camera is best, even the definition of best, if it's the glass, the sensor, the number of lenses, the algorithms, the stills, the videos, whatever. but Apple still in video cameras are consistently among the best, consistently having some of the best hardware and algorithms. And because they do things like individual color calibration at the factory, manage color at the OS level, and have a complete DCI P3 wide gamut pipeline from capture to display, the photos and videos the iPhone takes are super consistent. They even make their own custom storage controller, so every frame is saved consistently. Also, because iPhones are so consistent, it makes them easier to develop for, so you see a much wider range of truly fantastic camera and photo apps on the App Store, ones that work consistently on every modern iPhone, from the cheapest new SE to the most expensive new Macs. So, sure, have a wild range of hardware and software options, and that can be a huge advantage for other companies, especially for customers who get bored easily or just love to try out all the different flavors. But for creatives, for those who just need to get their work done, Apple's consistency wins.
Now, I asked everyone for a short clip, a short explanation, and I'm gonna play like everyone's explanation in full, as well as highlighted clips that just bring home the points that I'm trying to make here in this video.
So why is it that most creators use Apple products? Well, I feel like there's a number of reasons behind that. They definitely have that like creative type vibe to them. You know, they're trendy. It's hip to have AirPods in your ear. It's hip to work on your MacBook and Starbucks, things like that. But aside from that, for me personally, and I know for a lot of creators as well, it's definitely the ecosystem. The ecosystem is one of the best that I've ever used throughout my years as an online content creator, video producer, filmmaker. The fact that I could film really, really good footage on my iPhone 11 Pro, transfer it over or airdrop it over to my iPad or airdrop it over to my Mac, or just start editing it on the iPhone itself, that is huge. Like, if I'm gonna cut B-roll or things like that, I can do it on any device and then transfer it over to the next one that I wanna finish the project on. Things like that. The workflow is just amazing. And I know for a lot of creators as well, it's definitely that. I mean, they are trendy, they're well built, but the workflow is just great.
So as you see, I use Apple iPhones, I use the iPad Pro, I have an iMac Pro right here, as well as a MacBook Pro 16-inch. But that isn't my only computing. I just built my second custom PC, which you guys are gonna see featured here on the channel really soon. I'm super excited about it. This is a super dope gaming PC. It looks beautiful, it performs great, and I cannot wait to share with you guys. In me using a ton of Apple products, I'm not blinded to the strongholds of PCs and custom PC builds. Matter of fact, the Poet has a massively powerful, ridiculous PC.
This system here is called Deep Blue. It's a 32-core, 64-thread Threadripper 3970X with 64 gigs of RAM and 50 terabytes of storage space to help me with all of my tech videos that I shoot in 4K.
And even Kevin the Tech Ninja is gonna tell you that iPhones aren't as powerful as Android devices.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and let me cut to the chase right now. Today we're talking about why I use Apple as a creator. A little backstory about me, I've been on Android for a very long time. I actually started my YouTube channel covering Android. When I made the switch about 3 years ago, I made a video talking about the switch. People freaked out. The reason I made the switch was pretty simple. I was actually on a Mac already because I found Final Cut Pro to be the best tool for what I was using it for Final Cut. And I was tired of buying laptop after laptop on Windows and just had hardware issues. And I just said, you know what? Let me try a Mac. I hear they're very reliable. I bought one and I fell in love with Final Cut Pro, and then I ended up getting an iPad because it is the best tablet available. So I had a Mac and I had an iPad, and I kind of felt like to complete the Holy Trinity, I needed to get an iPhone. So I bought an iPhone to review, and I said, you know what? Let me give it an honest try. And I tried it and I fell in love with it. Yes, it's not as powerful as Android, but for the way I use it and the way I function, I found that it was best for me. And I found that it had some applications that were geared towards creators that Android didn't have. At the time, one of the apps was Mojo, where it allows you to make Instagram filters for stories, and also Affiliator, which allows you to take any link and then create an affiliate link out of it. Those two things alone saved me hours per week. I felt like for time purposes and to get stuff done, and also obligations have changed where I didn't have time to kind of play around with routing and ROMing and stuff like that I did with Android. I feel like Apple was just better for me on that side. Now, although I do love Android, the OnePlus 8 Pro is actually the best phone I've ever used. But at the end of the day, the operating system for me, for Apple, just makes more sense. My whole family's on Apple, so iMessage conversations and groups make sense. I can't have my family install WhatsApp just for me, and just sharing photos and things that we do in this whole ecosystem just works. Anyways, guys, my time is up. Kevin the Tech Ninja here. CJ, thanks for having me.
But that's the thing. We as creators, we go through different products and technologies until we find what works for us. That's another thing you're gonna hear over and over in this video is it just works.
Apple products just work.
They just work.
It just works.
I know these are like the cliche terms you hear, but I think when you hear these creators speak about it and give more context as to why those phrases are consistently said, you might have a better understanding.
Why do I like Apple products? Oh yeah, I love using Apple products because, well, they just work. I'm a content creator, just always filming something, always taking photos, and I'm editing constantly. And so I just need gear that works as fast as I do. And so I use MacBook Pros, I've used iMacs, I have iPhones, and I love the fact that I can integrate those two devices together. I often send videos and photos straight from a computer to my phone so that I can upload to platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever seamlessly. Apple products just work and I love them.
So CJ Knows Tech wants to know why Terry Warfield thinks that most creators prefer Apple products. This is an easy one, a real easy one. It's because Apple products just work. They just work. That's all to it. They just freaking work. It's almost like Apple products are like 2 steps ahead of you when it comes to like understanding what creators need. Everything just works in perfect harmony and synchrony. The user interface is amazing. All of your iOS or Apple devices talk to each other, which is huge. And let me give you a quick example, right? So let's just say, yo, I'm in Final Cut Pro, which by the way, I don't need crazy hardware to run. And I export a video file and I want to chop a piece of that video up and, you know, send it over to my iPad because there's an app on iPad I want to use, right? And let's just say from that video clip or picture, I can then take that and send that over to an iPhone and then post it to Instagram. Or let's just say like maybe I'm writing a script out for a video. I start typing it on my tablet, boom, it's automatically on my MacBook Pro when I open it up. And those small things just make the creator life so easy because we create so much. Anything that we can use to get some of our time back is highly, highly valuable. And Apple products let creators focus more on the creative process than the technical part of it. So, hey, that's my reasoning why I think everybody uses Apple products from a creative perspective. I get it. Not everybody wants Apple. Some people despise Apple, but the reality is they just work. And if you want a system that just works, hey, Apple products. Plus, continued product support. Boom.
Whether you like Apple, despise Apple, can't stand Apple, love Tim Apple, especially when I call him, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to give him a call after this video because this video right here is legendary. Regardless of where you stand on Apple and Apple products, I think you have to come to understand where they fit and why they have a stronghold in the marketplace and will consistently continue to have that stronghold, especially amongst creators. It services us as creators in an extremely efficient, time-saving, and consistent manner, which is what matters the most. Consistency, smoothness, unity. You're gonna hear this a lot as well. For a lot of people who wanna become creators in the beginning, I always tell you get an iPhone because the video quality on the iPhone translates extremely well, especially to social media and everything, app development, the things that can support you as a creator are there. But there's a couple of creators like El Jefe Reviews and Fernando Silva who both use strictly iPhones and iPads to create and edit.
What's up, CJ? Thanks for having me on. Now, as far as why I'm using Apple products as a content creator, I 100% blame that on Jonathan Morrison. No, I'm just kidding. But it is actually him because he went ahead and gave me my very first iPhone and sort of started me down this path of using Apple products in my creative process. Now, as far as my creative process is concerned, I actually edit all of my videos on an iPad, specifically a 2017 iPad Pro 10.5 inch, so a little bit older. But still, gets the job done perfectly. As far as the editing software I use, I am using LumaFusion, which you can pick up somewhere around 20 or 30 bucks on the App Store. And let me tell you right now, it is absolutely worth every single penny. This thing is powerful, super quick and intuitive to use. And if you don't know how to do anything on it, there's plenty of tutorials online that can teach you literally everything. But also, I use an iPhone 11 for many of my product and B-roll shots. So let's say, if, for instance, that I forgot to shoot a specific product shot. I can pull out the iPhone, I can go ahead and get that quick clip, and then I can airdrop it straight into the iPad, right into the editor, and I can continue my edit with little to no loss of time. So that seamless integration between these two are one of the main reasons that I like having this type of workflow and using these Apple products for what I do. Now, is this going to be the same case for everybody? No. Is there a way to do this with PC and with Android phones? Of course. But does anybody do it as seamlessly as Apple? I don't think so. So, once again, CJ, thank you for having me on. Thank you for letting me speak my piece about why I'm using Apple as a content creator, and shout out to everybody else in this video. Peace.
So what is going on, guys? NanoBits93 here, and when I saw that CJ posted that tweet about wanting to create a video about the Apple ecosystem and why creators love Apple products so much, especially for this creator space, I had to jump in because of the fact that I've been able to go from 0 to almost 10,000 subs with just an iPhone and an iPad. And my workflow is honestly very, very simple, guys. I record everything, all my A-roll, all my B-roll, all my product shots. Everything's recorded on this iPhone 11 Pro Max, which I'm using literally currently right now, and it's standing on a selfie stick on top of a table. So I have a little makeshift setup, which I'll show you guys right now in terms of how I actually record these videos. And then when I'm done, all I do is I airdrop those videos from my iPhone. So it gets airdropped over to the iPad Pro, and then from the iPad Pro, I edit it in LumaFusion, export it out of there. So I render it, export it out of LumaFusion, and then upload it directly to YouTube from Safari, because now it's a desktop class browser.
And as well as the bigger creators who have Mac computers like me, including me, will use an iPhone to shoot B-roll and supplement that into their videos. Instead of me having to pull out this big camera and this big setup, a lot of times I pull out the iPhone, I shoot the B-roll shot. As long as I have good lighting, good setup, it's gonna be butter. I've used it time and time again. And then I can airdrop that and drop it right into Final Cut Pro. Another keyword for editing. Final Cut Pro is a huge video editing software amongst creators.
CJ, thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate you. I gotta say that I think we can all agree that Apple is a pretty polarizing brand, but they do oftentimes create great products and services for creators, albeit oftentimes those products and services are very expensive. The service that keeps me using Mac for my main workstation is their editing software, Final Cut, and I use it for 3 main reasons. The first reason is that it's really well optimized. The second reason is that it's pretty reliable most of the time. And the third reason is that developers have created really excellent third-party plugins for Final Cut, which not only speed up my workflow, but they also add a certain type of production value that is really nice, which leads me to edit all of my client videos and all of my personal videos in Final Cut. And also the integration with other Apple products makes editing camera comparisons pretty easy with AirDrop. So because I'm spending so much time editing videos every single week, the MacBook Pro is my main computer of choice. Thank you again for having me on. Appreciate you.
As a creator, the reason why I use Apple products is pretty much simple. The ease of use, the seamless software, and powerful hardware. I love how all the Apple devices talk to each other seamlessly. You feel like you're a part of something without even realizing it. You don't have to download anything, you don't have to turn anything on. It just works. If I'm creating a video and I want to shoot some quick B-roll, I just simply use my iPhone 11 Pro Max, amazing video quality. I take the B-roll shot and within seconds I can send it over to my MacBook Pro via AirDrop and put it into Final Cut Pro and continue my project. Final Cut Pro is something that I also simply cannot stop using. It is incredibly powerful and very intuitive software. It makes using Final Cut Pro a wonderful experience. Final Cut Pro's background rendering is a genius way of turbo boosting your work without you thinking twice about it. It just works in the background, it renders your video in the background, so when it comes down to exporting your video, it does so incredibly quick because it doesn't have to render the whole video at the same time since it was doing so in the background while you were working on it. Using Apple products to create and explore your creativity is simply, in my opinion, the best. And if you haven't subscribed to CJ Knows Tech, what are you doing? Click that subscribe button. Thanks, CJ.
Hey friend, Brandon here. So over a decade ago, I would use PCs exclusively. I even built them, but I kept running into this issue where I would need to reformat them every single year. And that proved to be really, really bad for me as I was growing in my audio engineer career. And as an audio engineer, I used Pro Tools. And I just kept running into all these issues with compatibility with hardware, and then the software not being as stable, and then having a computer that's out of commission as I'm reformatting. It's just not really good in terms of business and your work. And that's where Apple comes into play. Apple is and has been known for being the tool for creatives. So I picked up a Mac Mini, and it really was the perfect tool for me. It helped me keep up with all my audio engineering work. And now in this current phase of my life and my career, I focus more on video rather than audio. I've tried a couple different video editing programs, and I just find that I really, really like Final Cut Pro. It's fast, it's intuitive, and most of all, I only pay for it once. And because Final Cut is only available for the Mac, I keep using the Mac. And that's the right tool for me as a creator. But for you as a creator, the right tool might be a PC, and that's totally okay. Plus, the quality of a PC from a decade ago to now is just crazy. There's some really great options out there now. Use the right tool for you, use what's best for you. I can't be upset about that. It's a great time in tech, and we all win. So that's all I got. Have a great day.
Now, there's a key reason to this. It's very easy to use, it's very intuitive, it's very powerful. But you also pay for it once. You spend only $300 one time, and you have updates over the years. Matter of fact, Andrew Edwards have had his Final Cut Pro subscription, which he paid one time, 7 and 11 months, basically 8 years ago.
What's up, everybody? Andrew Edwards here. CJ asked the question, why do all creators or tech creators use Apple products somewhere in their workflow? And I actually can't think of anyone who I personally know, and I know a lot of creators who use Apple products in their workflow, even if they're not using an iPhone on a day-to-day basis. Now for me, I'm not going to answer for everyone else, but you're probably going to hear things like AirDrop and how easy it is to record video or audio and then wirelessly and quickly transfer it from your phone to your computer. You're gonna hear about the ecosystem. I can take notes and write notes on my computer, and then I can refer them on my iPad later. For me, all those things are true, but there's also, as a video creator in particular, a tremendous value that Apple has provided me that I would not get on the PC. And the value is this. Now here's the value that I'm talking about. This is the date that I purchased Final Cut Pro 10. July 30th, 2012, and I paid $300, $299 in exchange for Final Cut Pro. That is almost 8 years ago. It's 7 years and 11 months ago that I bought Final Cut Pro. Every single update since then has been included at that original purchase price almost 8 years ago. Now, Adobe, on the other hand, I know some people love Adobe Creative Cloud. Adobe Creative Cloud costs $600 per year prepaid. So 6 months worth of access to Adobe Premiere Pro is equivalent to the almost 8 years that I've been getting updates for Final Cut Pro 10. That is a tremendous value to me as a video creator.
That's phenomenal. On the other hand, with Adobe Premiere Pro, you're paying $600 a year to use their creative suite, which I do have as well. Now, there's another program out there which the Poets brings up, which is DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve is amazing. Everything just imports perfectly into it. It slices and dices 4K footage real time like a champ. I have yet to have a crash on it. I've been doing my YouTube channel since December of 2019.
Which is another great PC and Mac editing software. So as a creator, one of the things you have to do is you have to pick and choose your tools that are gonna serve you best. That's what it's really, really about. What will service you as a creator the best? And when you figure out those tools, you'll stick to them because time is everything. Having your process streamlined and consistent as possible is exactly what matters most to you as a creator. A lot of times that consistency, that streamline, and that time savings is found on Apple products. Now you're gonna hear the other things as well. iMessage, just family members, that's another thing. There's a lot of reasons why people pick the devices they choose to use, but there's just a common theme amongst creators, and that's Apple products. And I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon. Even Marques Brownlee, an Android enthusiast, has Apple computers, high-end Apple computers, to edit and create with Final Cut Pro. And the list goes on, but it's just the simple fact that everything works, everything is consistent, and everything is fluid. And that's what you need as a creator. My name is CJ, this is CJ Knows Tech, where I like to get to know tech, use tech, experiment with tech, report back to you about the tech before you make the extremely financial tech decisions that matter most. So hopefully this gave you a lot more of insight as to why creators use Apple products. And I hope you now have a better understanding as to why your favorite creator is editing and creating on Apple products. Smash that like button, smash that sub button. You already know what to do. This video is absolutely fire.
What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, captain of Team Apple, baby. Back again for another video. And yes, CJ, your boy Viper is all deep into the Apple ecosystem. I mean, think about it. Your boy Viper, he shoots a video on his Sony a7 III, drops that footage off onto his 16-inch MacBook Pro, chop that bad boy up in Final Cut Pro, export it to YouTube, do all the YouTube things, put that video out for the world. But somewhere in between all of that, your boy needs B-roll. So what do I do, CJ, to get my B-roll? I record it on my iPhone 11 Pro Max, airdrop the B-roll to the MacBook Pro, bam! Or maybe I need to do a thumbnail for my YouTube video. So what do? I take a picture or freeze frame from the camera, airdrop it from the MacBook to the iPad to put it into Affinity Photo and create that thumbnail to put it on the YouTube video. Bam! I mean, the Apple ecosystem is so magnifico for creating content. The way that these devices seamlessly blend together to work cohesively to maximize the productivity of my creative flow, CJ, is why I am the captain of Team Apple and why I rock with a MacBook Pro, an iPad Pro, iPhone 11 Pro Max to maximize my creative workflow to get stuff done that I need to get done.